Hello, this is the first lesson on how to use Autolayout for Swift. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new project. I'm going to select Single View Application, hit Next, and I'm just going to go ahead and title this one Auto Layout. Hit Next, create it, and it's brought up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move the window over here and expand it just a moment. I have my simulator to the right. I am simulating it on an iPhone SE. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the auto layout over here to an iPhone SE. For when I run it, it'll automatically run on a iOS SE. However, when I click on the main storyboard and the main storyboard comes up, I'm going to go ahead and view it as an iPhone 7. So we'll have an iPhone 7 layout, but however, we'll run it on an iPhone SE simulator. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hide the navigation. So how I do that is click over here on the left to hide it. Okay, and now what we have here is that we have on to the left is our document outline, we have our canvas, and we have our utility. And to hide the document outline over here on the far left is click on this icon down here, the document icon outline, it disappears. If I click on it again, it'll show the document outline. Okay, so if I'm going to click on the caret and show this, and we have our view controller, and I'm going to click on the caret again and show that we have, to begin with, the top layout guide, a bottom layout guide, and a view. So if I click on this first one, the top layout guide, you're going to see that this line right here is the top layout guide. If I click on the bottom layout guide, you're going to see that this is the bottom layout guide right here. And if I click on the view, it's going to highlight the whole view. So when we first start off with the new project, we are going to have one view. And so to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to go to the utilities and I can click over here on the utilities, and then I'm going to change the background color to a different color. So let's say that I'm going to pick green. So now you show that if we click on the view here, it all turns green. If I click on the bottom layout guide, again, it's down here, and the top layout guide is right here highlighted in blue. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is show you how to start using the canvas in order to understand how your layout guide it goes. So if I actually click on run, let's see what happens. It's building the auto layout, compiling the storyboard files, and here is my iPhone SE. Give it just a second. Okay, and notice it turned the whole simulator green because when we started it out over here, our view, if I click on our view again, our view is green with our background, and this we're showing a whole green. So now what I'm going to do is click on the utility, and I'm going to type in UI view, and we have a view icon right here, and it shows you, if I just select it a little, it just tells you a little bit description of it. I'm going to go ahead and click done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to track a view, and I'm going to drop it in the center, and I'm going to click on it. Notice here what happens is that in your document outline you have your view and you have a subview. To make this a little bit easier, I'm going to go over to our utility and click, and I am going to go to the label, and I'm going to type in box. Hit enter, and notice here under the document under label, and if I look over here on the document outline, I have view, and now I have box. So what happens here? Now let's go down here to the bottom right, and let's click on this icon here, and this, let's go ahead and select reset to suggested constraints. If I click on that, notice here you come up with several blue lines. We count 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we'll look what happens also. On to the left on the document outline, we have a constraints pops up. So if I click on the down caret, notice here we have 4 constraints. And I'm going to open this up just a little so you can see it all. Okay, the first constraint says box top equals top layout guide bottom dot bottom plus 249. If I click on this, notice here it highlights this constraint right here, this line. If I click on the box dot center x to center x, it shows this line. If I click on the center y, it shows this one. And if I click on the last one, it shows the box leading equals the leading margin plus 51. So the leading margin is this right here, the leading margin, and plus 51 is this line here. 51 gives us the box leading. So if I actually click here, notice here in our utility, I'm going to go over here to the measures, that we see the constant 51. This 51 constant is equal from the distance from here to here. If I click on the box dot top to top layout guide, notice here it highlights this one here. Notice here the plus 249 is in the constant 249. So if I want to go ahead and change this to let's say I change it to 100 and hit enter, this distance from the top layout guide to the box changes to 100. And since we have a box center X and a box center Y, it's going to be equal distance. So there's going to be 100 down here. And also right here, if I click here, notice here if I click on this one right here, this distance, it highlights this one in the document outline, this constraint on the document outline. And I'm going to go ahead and change that to 25. Hit 25 and it increases it. So now if I click on the box in the document outline, I can actually go to my utilities menu and change the background to, let's say, red. Now we have equal distance from the top layout guide to the box, equal distance down here to the bottom, and from the left and to the right. So now if I go to my simulator, hit stop and hit run, and we go to our iPhone SE simulator, notice here that the box shows up exactly where it's supposed to be. Even though I'm running it on an iPhone 7 in my Xcode, building it in the iPhone 7 Xcode project, since I'm building it with using constraints properly, it is showing up correctly on a different size simulator. Doesn't matter if it's on an iPad or an iPhone. It will, the constraints, using the constraints property, this should come out correct. Okay, so now let's go back over here and click on it, and let's click on the constraints, and let's delete each one. So now we don't have any constraints. So now if I click on this, I can go to the box and I got the view. So now if I hit my control key and drag from the box to the view, let go, notice here you're going to have options come up, which says leading space to container margin, trailing space to container margin, vertical spacing to top layout guide, and vertical spacing to bottom layout guide. So let's click on the first one. Notice what happens here. The constraints pops up, click on the down caret, we have box leading equals leading margin plus 25, which is this one right here. If I click on that and I go to my utility, it shows a constant of 25. So now if I go back to my box and do it again, hit control drag to view, let go. Notice here there's a dot that pops up right next to leading space because we have a constraint for that. Now if I click on the second one, it's going to build another constraint on the right hand side. Notice here it's 26. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 25 right now. If I click on 25, notice here it changes to 25. So now I can go back to box again, hit drag, hit control drag, go back to my view, let go, and I got 2 dots. Now I go to the third one, click vertical space in the top, it shows this one. Now if I click on it It says the box dot top equals top layout guide to dot bottom plus 100. So I'm showing 100, spacing of 100. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 50. Hit OK. Okay. Now let's do one more. Let's do a control to view, and let's select the last one. Great. So now we have a bottom layout to 121. Notice here that we do our box colors turn to orange for these, two for the top and to the right. Now notice here that we do have a little orange icon right here. So if I click on it, it's going to show me that I have misplaced views because I changed them. And if I click on the icon again, all we need to do is just actually update the frames. Fix misplacement, and it automatically updates it and goes away. Click back on structure, and it takes me back to my document outline. So notice here, if I click right here, the top equals the top layout guide plus 50, trailing margin to the right plus 25, leading is to the left plus 25, and the bottom is 1 plus 121. So I'm going to go ahead again and click on this one, and I'm going to change it to 10. Let's give them different numbers. There's 10 right here. Change it to 10, and let's click here on this bar plus 25 here. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 50. Boom. Okay. Now we got a box that just has different lengths from the left to the right, and then the bottom and the top. So now let's go ahead and stop the simulator, and let's run it again. Let's see what happens. Simulator's popping up, and we should get our green background with our red box with the correct proportions, which we do. Should be enough for the first tutorial, and let me go ahead and stop it, and we'll continue our next lesson where we left off right now.